Good morning. Yep, 9228. Okay. Hello. Okay, so we're gonna head off to this restaurant called 126 Restaurant for the morning. The reason why I'm going there in the mornings is I kind of don't want to be I don't want to be in the crowds. And this place opens at 5 a.m. And it's apparently the place to be if I want to get some of the most famous dishes of Cambodia. And apparently it's always packed with locals actually, and some foreigners. So I'm going to give that a try today. It's nice, barely any cars. Normally this street is jam-packed. My hostel is just about 5 minutes away from this, 5 minutes away with tuk-tuk from this place. 5 a.m. in the morning, there's a lot of locals out on the road eating at restaurants already. So I'm pretty curious to see how busy this restaurant's going to be. Okay, I guess we are here. 126 restaurant. Okay, is it here? Yes. Okay. Thank you. This is the area here. I just gotta double check Google Maps to see where the restaurant actually is. Let's see here. Hopefully it's not this thing that's closed. Hopefully Google Maps is correct, because I'm hoping there's some good eating to be had here. So let me just double check. And I will get back to you. 1 second. Okay. Oddly enough, he dropped me just 1 block away from there. So I'm gonna walk right in this corner. It should be somewhere around this corner here. And I'm not seeing a crowd, so that's a good thing. But I'm not also seeing a restaurant that's open. So let's give this a shot still. 126 restaurant. Ah, there it is, in the corner there, 126. And there looks like some locals there, but at least it's not full. So let's give this place a try. I think I just sit down. Hi, do I sit down? Just, yeah, okay, thank you. All right, I'm gonna find a space. There's a fan, and I'm gonna do it right here. Okay, so this place, let's check this place out. Kind of stuffy, huh? Okay. And we just wait for the menu, I guess. No, thank you. Okay. Okay, so here's the menu. Pretty extensive. I know for sure what I already want. I want to have this beef, and I also want the, I think the 13 house special noodle. So I'm going to give those a try. Oops, here we go. So I'm going to have this beef and then the house special noodle. Can I get number 12 and number 13? That's it. One, yeah. One, and then, yeah. Thank you. That is the beef curry there. Absolutely amazing. And there we go. This is the special combination for the place, the special. Thank you so much. And then we have the baguette. So this baguette normally goes with this beef curry here. And then here is the noodle soup. That is their special. You can see that it's nice, clear soup with some, looks like some shrimp and some beef balls and some other cuts of pork inside. Just gonna grab, so you grab your own utensil from here. You just kind of just want to taste up the soup here. Okay. Very clear, very clear. It tastes exactly like the first batch of the broth in the morning. Pork based. Yep, definitely pork based. Very, yeah, it's a nice stock. I'm loving it. It's good so far. I can see why this is very popular in the morning for breakfast because it's a very light soup with no real, I would say mild in taste. Also very pungent in pungent in onion because it looks like they've sprinkled in some shallots, deep fried shallots, green onions, so it has that very oniony taste to it. Delicious. I like that. Okay. Next up is we got the beef. I'm going to have the beef with some baguettes. Okay, so now we got the beef with the baguette. You can see here it's very fatty. Very fatty. Look at that. It drips so nice. Oh gosh, that looks amazing. And normally the beef is quite tender on the cuts. You can see this is like the tendon. But let's just do the spoon test. Okay, it's a bit hard. It's a bit hard for sure. You cannot cut it with a spoon. You can see that. Okay. So these cuts are the harder cuts, or they're just overcooked, but that's okay. I think that's for a stew. It means that we've got the first batch of stew, so maybe this was just only boiling for a few hours. Mind you, I'm here at 5:30 in the morning. Okay, but I'm gonna give it a shot anyway. First of all, I'm gonna give it a try. Just a try. It's literally like the same one that you can get in Vietnam. It's very similar in taste. I can taste the turmeric. I can taste the onions, the turmeric, the lime leaves. Yeah, it's a very unique flavor, but it's very hearty. So normally what you do is you break off a baguette, have a little bit of it, dip it in. I can see why this place is very popular. Absolutely amazing. The baguette is so crispy on the outside, so fluffy on the inside. Feel that. Like when you break it off, it's just the perfect texture. It's just the perfect size. I'm gonna guess they really just make this here. Dip it in. You see that? Okay. I'm gonna give this beef a test. I know it's gonna be chewy. You just know it, but let's find out. Definitely the chewier parts, for sure, but it's the right consistency. It feels like there's a lot of tendon in there, so it's quite easy to bite off and chew actually. So it's pretty good. Overall, the dish is actually very mild in taste, even though it's a curry. There's a very mild turmeric-y taste. I mean, in Cambodia, you should know that there are a few ingredients that they use here that are very common: galangal, lime leaves, turmeric. What else? Can't remember. There are two other ones that they normally use in their cuisine here, and to also make it very sour. So, tamarind would be one. Tamarind is a very common ingredient to use when you are making something that is sour, such as this curry. This curry can be a sour curry. So sour curries normally are
dipped with bread here. That's the most common thing. That's why you don't really see any rice here. And it's just one of the staples. And this was during the time of, I believe, war or something like that, when this dish was created for the locals here. And it's been sticking around ever since. So, and you can also, anybody that's been in Vietnam probably know that this dish is actually very popular in Vietnam as well. And I'm gonna say there's some influences of that here. It was, if you don't know, Cambodia is an Indochina influenced society, influenced citizens, and there's a lot of influences of that here. But also during the Khmer Rouge period, when the Vietnamese came in and overthrew the Khmer government, I think a part of the cuisine ended up sticking around, such as the French baguette. Because a lot of the times, Vietnam was colonized by the French at one point, and the baguette, the banh mi, stayed around, and you can see some of that influences here in Cambodia. So enough talking, let's dig in. Let me set that one aside and have some noodles before it gets too soaked up with soup. Nice thin vermicelli noodles, or yeah, this is considered vermicelli for me. Some people just call this rice noodles, normal rice noodle, especially in Thailand. They don't consider this vermicelli. Vermicelli in Thailand is actually a lot thinner than this, so that's what they call vermicelli. And it looks like they've got some pork patties in here, some parts of other pork cuts. I believe that's intestine and tongue. This one is definitely a liver, looking by the texture here. This is pork liver. Okay, we got shrimp, and we got pork balls, and a little bit of pork bits here, as well as some onions and some green onions. So fried onions and green onions. And that's all put into the soup base here for a nice morning breakfast soup. First thing I'm gonna try is the noodles. How well are the noodles cooked? Well, I have been letting this sit inside the broth for a few minutes here, so I probably think it's gonna be nice. Very typical of what you would find in a normal Southeast Asian dish. Just al dente, a little bit beyond al dente on noodles. Really nice. This cut of meat here, this is going to be the liver. So liver is actually has a very interesting texture. A lot of people who have not eaten liver before, it's going to have exactly like this texture where it's kind of like bubbly-ish. You see that? And depending on which meat you get or which cut, sometimes it can taste gamey. It starts off with a little bit of hardness on the outside first, and then it becomes very powdery almost in your mouth as you start chewing it. It kind of breaks up differently than any other meats inside the cut of a pig. But it's an acquired taste. It almost tastes like pate. It is pate, actually. That's what pate is made out of. Have you ever eaten pate? It tastes exactly like that. All right. Okay, next is, I believe, just a slice of, I'm not sure what this is, but I'm going to give it a try. It looks like it has a bit of cartilage in it. Okay, so I'm not sure what cut of meat this is. Okay. Very mild in taste. So a lot of these cuts of meat are, because of this entire dish is quite mild, there's not a lot of flavoring. There's not a lot of marination on the meat, because normally in the morning you just want something easy to go down. So I would say this dish here, this noodle soup, is a much more milder soup than any other soup that you're going to probably find here in Cambodia, because the soups that they use here tend to be very sour. or tend to be very curry-like, like yellow. They use a lot of tamarind, they use a lot of lime leaves, galangal, and that's what normally is what you're going to find. So this is more of a very breakfast meal, which is quite nice because it's easier on the stomach that way. The broth is just so perfect. It's so warm, it's so nice in the morning. Okay, next up I got this patty. This patty here is normally a grinded pork patty, ground it up and then like molded into this shape and then boiled. You may have seen it. These are normally, they look like a paste basically. And this one here, it looks like there has been no added seasoning whatsoever. Let me just give that confirmation here. That's right. Yeah. So basically, it's just a ground up pork patty with no seasoning whatsoever. But it feels like there's some sort of filler inside there because the texture is a little bit too gelatinous for meat patties. But that can also be the fats binding inside the meat. But it's actually quite good. Quite tasty. Now, they also gave me this little dipping sauce here that I should probably try to dip with. Check this out. So this dipping sauce here looks like it's some form of chili, and let's give you a nice close-up of that. The texture. There you go. Right. Has a little bit of a cornstarch or some sort of thickener to be able to attach to my chopstick like that and run very slowly. Normally that can be xanthan gum. That's normally used in food, cornstarch or xanthan gum. But let me give that a try here. Yeah, you see how the sauce just holds onto the meat like that? That's normally there's a thickener inside, right? When you make a sauce, there's normally any sauce is very runny, and to be able to have something that sticks on there, you need a thickener. So this one, based on how it's holding on to the meat, there is quite a bit of thickener in there. It's like a sweet, plummy, and they added just a hint of spice in there. So it's not a very spicy dip, and it's quite sweet. Not what I was expecting. I was expecting something sour and spicy. So I don't know if that actually really goes with the meat, so I'm gonna not really dip with that. So now I'm gonna try the other cuts. So this one here is the beef ball. And let's take a look at here. The texture-wise, this is also similar to the pork patty, how it's made, but this is normally bought from factory in a package. And these are grounded up, these are grounded up and they tend to have a little bit of spices in them or not, sometimes. Depending on the manufacturer of these meatballs, these are normally not made on site. And they are very, you can see based on the color, there's no food coloring, no additives or whatever. There may be slightly some salt to keep it for last longer, but otherwise it should be a very simple meatball. Let's give it a try. Very typical of what you would find. You can see the inside there. Some air bubbles, some pockets, right? Very dense. It's a very dense meatball. So I'm gonna try this little dip here. It almost tastes like lunch, like something you eat for lunch. Yeah, for sure. Not bad. So I believe I got all the cuts of meats. Okay, this one is just a normal slice of meat, probably off of the butt, the butt of the pig, right here. Normal. And of course, I need to eat the shrimp. The shrimp has been sitting too long, so it's just shrunk up. But that's the shrimp right there. Very delicious. Overall, this noodle dish is really good. One thing I should probably mention is that they give you some of this here. If you're a fan of it, this normally comes with every soup noodle dish, which is lime and bean sprout. So with lime and bean sprout, it adds texture inside the soup while you're eating it, while the lime is very common in Asia, maybe also in Vietnam, you probably will see, is that everybody loves to garnish everything with lime. It makes everything a little bit sour, a little bit more pungent. Okay, so I'm gonna dump this in, add some in there. Okay, and squeeze a bit of lime in there, and let's see how that changes the noodle taste. Mix that up. Okay, so it kind of adds texture to the whole noodle. You can kind of see I left my noodles sitting for too long. They're getting a little big in size, but overall there's still some broth in here, so it's not too bad. Now I'm curious to see how it tastes like with the bean sprout inside, and also the limes. The lime is what I'm most curious about, because lime can dramatically change the way things taste due to the receptors in your tongue. I think the lime taste actually makes it taste a little bit better. It enhances the flavor in a way that makes it taste more fresh, very light. Makes it taste lighter, yeah, absolutely. Lighter, and the texture of the bean sprout with the noodles is perfect. Now I think this dish just changed and went up maybe a star. All right, we're going back to this curry here. I just can't get enough of this curry. This curry is absolutely delicious. If you ever come here, I think this is probably one of the most famous dish for the spot here. Everybody has it, and it's quite delicious. It's really, I'm more of a guy that really loves flavor. I love flavor. I need to have flavor. So if it's like one of these noodles where it's kind of sort of bland from the morning, I'm not very much of a fan of that. So this one here is definitely the one for me. And break off a little bread here. Dip it inside this noodle. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be finishing this one for sure. Yeah. This one hits the spot. So you can see they have basil. This is Thai basil. Okay. It's used almost in everything to garnish a lot of dishes here in the Southeast Asian side of the world. Very, very common. Some people don't like the taste, but it's almost similar to the herbally taste of cilantro. Some people aren't able to eat it like that, like with that sort of flavor. But this one is very unique in this country, and I love it. Some can be very mild, but I actually love it more pungent. Love it. Delicious. Very, very pungent. And here is just a bunch of onions. All right, you can see through the onions here. You see just dripping in onions, nicely, thinly sliced. Makes the whole dish look very presentable, very delicious. Okay. Just want to show you that. How thinly sliced they are. There you go. This is probably the best curry that I've ever had. Honestly, it's really good. I'm gonna definitely finish this dish. All right, just got the bill here, and it's about $32,000 for both those dishes. Here they're making the broth. They're making the broth here. You can see that they're simmered for a while, and then they add some stuff in here. There you go. These guys make it. There you go. Ah, looks almost like bakso, you know? Bakso in Indonesia. Almost looks like that. And they've got broth brewing. I wonder where they make the beef. And they've got a big giant steamer here. So this whole operation is right outside, and, you know, great place. So maybe they make the beef somewhere else.